When I was 16, I dropped out of school to pick corn in the fields. A rich kid from the city, driving a luxury car, was arguing with his girlfriend with a cigarette dangling from his lips. "Are you really breaking up with me?" The girl sneered. "Of course. If I hadn't wanted to get close to your brother, I would never have been with a spoiled brat like you. Go ask around. Who would ever love someone like you?" The man was furious. He beckoned to me and said spitefully, "Hey, you. I'll sponsor your education, feed and clothe you, give you more money than you can ever spend. In return, you love me. How about it?" I didn't hesitate. "Okay, later," he told me. "Go after my brother. Only if he's in a relationship will Audrey finally give up." I didn't immediately agree to Nicholas's request. I had changed a lot in the past 7 years. Nicholas had raised me well. He paid for my education, hired tutors for me, and sent me to all sorts of classes. Whatever I wanted to learn, he indulged me. Last year, after I graduated, he spent a fortune buying me a car and a house. When I was learning to drive that summer, he patiently accompanied me every day, never once complaining of being tired. Now, no one would call me a country bumpkin anymore. They said I was the girl the second young master of the Zhou family held in the palm of his hand, his child bride. After all, he had spared no effort to lift me up. He had spent 7 years cultivating a flower. Now, that flower was in full, exquisite bloom. How could he possibly give it away? But no one expected Audrey to come back. She had gone abroad shortly after breaking up with Nicholas, cutting off contact with everyone. Last month, she returned from her studies. The first thing she did was confess her feelings to Nicholas's older brother, Caleb. She was rejected. No one really knew that Audrey had a crush on Caleb. After her confession failed, probably with no one to talk to, she called Nicholas in tears. "Nicholas, I'm back." Just those few words threw him into a state of utter disarray. Later, she was heartbroken over Caleb several more times. Each time, Nicholas was the one to comfort her. He felt sorry for her, but he was also a little angry. Why? He would have torn his heart out for her, but her heart was only for his cold, taciturn brother. But I never thought he would come up with such a terrible idea. In my opinion, someone like Caleb would never fall for any girl. But Nicholas came to beg me every day. He sent me flowers and designer bags, showering me with money as if it were water. My colleagues saw it and thought he was pursuing me. "I always thought there was something between you two. He's so good to you, and he seems very rich. You should just say yes. Remember to treat us to dinner when you get together." I just smiled and said nothing. Yes, he was so good to me. I could never repay his kindness in this lifetime. Just then, Nicholas called. His voice had a hint of nonchalance. "Did you get the flowers? Do you like them?" I hummed in affirmation. He sighed. "Forget it. I thought about it. If you really don't want to, I cut him off. "I'll do it." Nicholas's voice caught in his throat. "What?" "What you asked me to do. I'll do it." He was silent for a moment on the other end, then suddenly laughed. "All right then. Go for it. If you can't win him over, forget it. I'll still take care of you for the rest of your life." He added a couple more sentences, as if explaining, "For so many years, the girls they've set my brother up with, if not 100, at least 80. But he hasn't liked a single one. He's only ever been somewhat nice to you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked you to do this." After listening, I looked at the moon in the sky and, after a long moment, nodded. "Okay." Then I heard the click of a lighter. He was smoking again. He called my name, his voice a little muffled. "By the way, I never asked you. Amelia, do you have someone you like?" I paused. "Is that important?" "Yes. If you have someone you like, I won't make you do this. I can't be the one to ruin your life." I glanced at the blooming roses on my desk. I heard he used to love sending flowers to Audrey. All air, freighted from other places. A single stem was worth half a month's salary for an ordinary person. I pursed my lips. No. In fact, I had lied to Nicholas. I liked him. I had liked him from the first moment I saw him. But for all these years, his heart had only been for Audrey. 2 days later, Nicholas personally organized a welcome-back dinner for Audrey. He sent me an invitation too. I heard that Audrey knew about me and insisted on seeing me. She had said, "That girl from the cornfields 7 years ago. You really brought her back, Nicholas. She was so dark, so skinny and small. Not pretty at all. I thought you were just joking. I'm actually quite curious to see what she looks like now. I had something else to do, so I immediately declined. Nicholas sent me several messages. The last one said, "My brother will be there too. You haven't forgotten what you promised me, have you?" I stared at the screen, a tightness in my chest. It was incredibly uncomfortable, but he had put it that way. I had to go. Otherwise, wouldn't I seem ungrateful? When I arrived, they were all playing cards. Someone saw me, and their expression turned a little strange. They didn't greet me as they used to before. Out of respect for Nicholas, they had all flattered me, calling me Miss Reed. But now, it was clear to anyone with eyes that Nicholas was not going to marry me. I walked over and watched. At the whole table, only Audrey was winning. Nicholas was very good at these games. I could tell he was intentionally letting her win. After a long time, Audrey noticed me. She looked at me with surprise, covering her mouth in exclamation. "Wow, you've changed so much. I remember you used to be." She clicked her tongue, her words trailing off, then waved her hand, got up, and gave her seat to me. "All right, you play. I'm tired." Then she picked up her phone and started typing. I was close enough to see the name on the screen. It was Caleb, but it was almost entirely a one-sided conversation. The other side had never replied. I sat down. Nicholas's expression cooled. When he drew his next card, he seemed a bit annoyed. They were playing for high stakes, and no one was going easy on me. In no time, I had lost over 100,000. Audrey stood nearby and said with some exaggeration, "What's wrong with you guys? Letting her lose so much? Where is she going to get that kind of money? Can she even afford it?" Someone pushed their cards forward. It was Nicholas's best friend, Ethan. He looked up nonchalantly. "What's there to be afraid of? Nicholas has her back." He was right. It had always been like that. Audrey raised an eyebrow. "Oh, is that so?" Nicholas grunted in agreement and took out his phone to transfer the money. But I spoke first. "No need. I'll pay it myself." Nicholas looked at me, his eyes darkening. "Don't mess around." I smiled. "It's fine. I can't rely on you forever." Over the years, thanks to Nicholas, I had actually learned quite a few ways to make money. I had saved up a little. I even had a separate bank card where I deposited money regularly, planning to pay him back one day. But he didn't know any of this. I transferred the money to them. Nicholas had won the most. He stared at the screen for a long time before snorting and accepting the payment. Well, Amelia, you've grown up." A little while later, I went to the restroom. On my way out, I happened to see Nicholas and Audrey arguing in the hallway. "Didn't you say Caleb would be here too? Why isn't he here yet?" Something came up. "What? You still haven't given up on my brother? You've been chasing him for so long. Has he even paid you any attention?" "Huh. So what? I'm willing. What about you? Why are you keeping that girl? What's her name?" "Amelia. By your side." Nicholas stared at her. "Are you jealous?" "No. I just can't stand women like that. Mooching off of someone else's family like a parasite. She must have cost you a lot of money over the years." Nicholas raised a hand and rubbed his nose. "I was just doing it to spite you, wasn't I? If you're willing to give up on my brother and get back together with me, I'll cut ties with Amelia immediately and never speak to her again." The hallway light was dim. I stood in the corner, my heart instantly turning cold. I didn't listen any further. I went in the other direction, calmed myself down, and then walked back. When I pushed the door open, the private room was empty. I went outside and found that it was pouring rain. Ethan had just gone to throw up and hadn't left yet. He came out and saw me, pausing for a moment. "You're still here?" "Oh, Nicholas just left to take Audrey home. It's raining too hard right now, and this place is so remote. But we're not going the same way. Why don't you wait a bit? I'll give Nicholas a call and ask him to come back and pick you up." I shook my head. "It's fine." Ethan sighed at my words, but didn't say anything more. He took his date's hand and got in his car. I deeply regretted not driving here myself. I took out my phone and tried to call a taxi, but no one was accepting the ride. I searched online and found a bus stop nearby. I made up my mind and stepped out into the rain. However, I had only taken a few steps when an umbrella was held over my head. Then, I heard a low voice. Just as the rumor said. It was cold and impersonal. "Amelia." That night, The rain poured down. It was Caleb who took me home. On the way, he answered a call. It was from Nicholas. I was close enough to clearly hear the voice from the other end. Bro, we've all left. Don't bother coming over when you're done. Caleb raised an eyebrow, not mentioning that he had already been to the club. You said you had something important to talk to me about, but you took off yourself. So, what was it? Sigh. It was actually Audrey who wanted to see you. You know her temper. I can't say no to her. Caleb's lips twisted into a blank expression. What? You give her whatever she wants. Even sell out your own brother. Nicholas's tone was still flippant. Of course. You know I've liked her since we were kids. For her, I can do anything. Abandon anything. Besides, who told you not to date? At this point, his tone paused, and he cursed under his breath. Crap. I forgot about Amelia. I have to go. Bro. Caleb glanced at me. He said, okay. It was kind of him to even remember me. Caleb hung up and said nothing. I silently looked away. Out the window. My phone was in my bag. In the past, I would have immediately taken it out to see if Nicholas had called. But right now, perhaps because I was too tired, I did nothing. The phone never rang. Only then did I remember that I had put it on silent for a meeting in the afternoon and had forgotten to turn the ringer back on. The rest of the way was silent. Finally, we reached my apartment building. I let out a sigh of relief. It was still raining outside. He picked up the umbrella next to him and handed it to me. I said thank you and reached for it. When I took it, he didn't let go. I looked at Caleb, confused, not understanding what he meant. Mr. Joe. His gaze fell on me. After a long time, he finally let go. Then he spoke very calmly. If you're sad, you can cry. After a pause, he added, if you need help with anything, you can also come to me. I won't tell anyone. My heart skipped a beat. Only then did I realize that my hand had been trembling ever since I heard that phone call. Yes. That? Abandon anything. From Nicholas. Wasn't he talking about me? I clenched my hands at my sides, looked into Caleb's eyes, and suddenly smiled. In these 7 years, I had only seen him a few times. But why was it that every time we met, I was in such a pathetic state? In that instant, for no reason at all, a reckless thought popped into my head. I deliberately changed my form of address. Caleb, what if I said, I want to date you? Caleb frowned and gave me a cold look. No. I went home. I tidied up for a bit. Then I took my phone out of my bag. In that short time, Nicholas had called me dozens of times. Besides the calls, he had also sent many messages. I left in a hurry just now and forgot you were there. I've arranged for someone to pick you up. Why aren't you answering your phone? Did something happen to you? Reply to me quickly. Are you angry? Forget it. I'm coming over myself. The last message was sent 3 minutes ago. I thought about it and was about to call him back to tell him not to worry. But then the screen showed. Typing. The next moment, his message came through. Audrey suddenly isn't feeling well. I have to stay with her. How about I have the driver pick you up instead? I stared at the message for a long time, then typed a reply. No need. I'm already home. Nicholas immediately replied with a 17-second voice message. You finally replied. You scared me to death. I thought something had happened to you. It's good that you're okay. I'm busy right now, so I won't talk to you anymore. I sighed. Okay. I suddenly remembered all the stories I had heard about Nicholas and Audrey over the years. He had gone to great lengths to pursue her. He had fought for her, been jealous for her, and done many foolish things. When they were 18, Audrey's family had some trouble. Nicholas begged his father at home for half a month, even going on a hunger strike. Only then did his father agree and, at great cost, help the Jiang family. Not long after, they got together. Everyone said that Nicholas was madly in love with Audrey. In the first 2 years I was with Nicholas, some people even said he was crazy, that he was willing to take on a trouble like me just to spite Audrey. But the Zhou family had agreed readily. After all, it was just sponsoring my education. That little bit of money wasn't even enough for them to host a few banquets. After that day, Nicholas didn't contact me, but I knew he was with Audrey. He took her everywhere. Skiing one day, watching the sunset the next. A few of his close friends also accompanied them. Ethan posted a photo of them on his social media. In the photo, Nicholas's gaze was always on Audrey. Someone commented below, TSK. Nicholas still looks best with Audrey. Yeah, I bet someone still thinks she can climb the social ladder and become a phoenix. She must be so dumbfounded now. I had heard things like that a lot when I first came to the Zhou family. But later, Nicholas lost his temper over it a few times, and they didn't dare to say it anymore. But it was clear that this time, Nicholas had no intention of caring, because he replied to the comment. Of course, you guys have good taste. Audrey and I were always meant to be. But strangely, seeing this, I wasn't very sad. I even thought, then let it be. I won't like Nicholas anymore. I'll let them have their meant to be. The next second, I liked the post, and then I commented below. Next time, you can just say it directly. This someone is Amelia. What's the point of being vague? But what a coincidence. I also think they look great together. Less than 2 minutes after I posted it, I refreshed the page, and the post was gone. Nicholas sent me 2 messages. It's not a big deal. You've heard this kind of thing before. No need to get upset with them. Be good. I'll take you shopping in a couple of days. TSK. Yes. It wasn't the first time I had been belittled. I had a poor background. I was poor. So it was fine for people to say a few things about me. I tossed my phone aside. I went to take a shower. When I came out, I saw he had sent several more messages. Not replying. Fine. But don't forget what you promised me. I looked at it for a while and replied. Okay. Not long after, the news of my fallout with Nicholas spread. Because that day, they happened to be at a gathering together. After I replied to Nicholas, he stared at the screen for a long time before finally losing his temper and smashing his phone. Damn it. I didn't even say anything about her. She only knows how to get angry at me. I don't owe her anything. Coincidentally, I was having dinner with a friend. I went out to answer a call and happened to see Ethan chatting with someone in the hallway. This Amelia. What a white-eyed wolf. Nicholas is so good to her. So what if he says a few things about her? Besides, in the end, she should be grateful to Audrey. If it weren't for Audrey, Nicholas wouldn't have brought her back. Ethan clicked his tongue. Come on. You can't say that. The Zhou family sponsors countless students every year. I don't see you talking about others like that. She's special. She was raised by Nicholas's side. Cherished like the apple of his eye. Can those other people compare to her? She's also done a lot for Nicholas. Over the years, whenever Nicholas called her, has she ever not been there at a moment's notice? Not to mention, 2 years ago, when Nicholas almost got into a car accident, she was the one who shielded him. She was in bed for 3 months. Sigh. That's true. But Audrey is back now. Her existence is quite an eyesore, isn't it? I stood in the corner. After they went into the private room, I walked over. Actually, if they hadn't mentioned it, I would have almost forgotten about that heroic act of mine. That day, it was the first time Audrey had called Nicholas in 5 years. She told him she had dreamt of Caleb. She asked if he could secretly take a picture of Caleb and send it to her. Nicholas was stunned when he heard this. He didn't even see the car coming. I went to push him, but I couldn't get out of the way myself and got hit. But thankfully, it wasn't anything serious. But even so, I still had surgery. I was in the hospital for 3 months. But, in everyone's eyes, this was what I was supposed to do. When Mrs. Zhou came to see me, she even said, "It's good that you have this heart for Nicholas. He has a carefree nature, and we never really expected him to achieve much. In the future, if he's still this good to you, I won't object to you being my daughter-in-law." It was also because of this that the title of Child Bride started to spread. Nicholas never came out to explain. Everyone thought he had tacitly agreed. Even I thought so. But now, if I still thought that, I would be ungrateful. Of course, I didn't have the time to care about these rumors. I had something more important to do, and that was to pursue Caleb. I knew I would definitely not succeed. It was just a gesture for Nicholas's sake. When the time came, even if he didn't get what he wanted, I had done my part. He couldn't blame me. I had no experience in this area, so I had to ask a friend for advice. Chloe was my college classmate and had a lot of dating experience. In her words, if you had this kind of problem, you came to her. I asked her, "How do you win a man over?" She was amazed. "Nicholas, with how devoted he is to you, do you even need to win him over?" In college, Nicholas often came to see me at school. He was handsome, rich, and naturally eye-catching. Over time, Everyone knew he was good to me, almost excessively so. I casually said, "I just want to learn." That night, Chloe taught me everything she knew. From that day on, I started to pursue Caleb. Every day after work, I would wait for him downstairs at the Jo group, giving him flowers and love letters. The words in them were so cheesy I didn't even want to read them a second time. Caleb remained cold, but he never embarrassed me. We had actually had a few interactions over the past few years. In my sophomore year, Nicholas took me on a trip. I got a fever from being caught in the rain, but he flew abroad overnight because he heard Audrey was in trouble. In the end, it was Caleb who took care of me. When a client was being difficult and spilled coffee on me, he was the one who saved me. Every time, it was when I was at my most pathetic and embarrassed. I took pictures of my pursuit of Caleb and sent them to Nicholas. The result? He actually blocked me. I didn't care. I thought, I'll keep this up for another 10 days or so, and then report back to him all at once. That way, I wouldn't be ungrateful. Right. But that night, when I was out shopping with Chloe, I ran into Nicholas and Audrey. They had bought a lot of things. Nicholas's spoiled, rich kid temper completely vanished in front of Audrey. His 2 hands were full, all women's clothes and bags. When he saw me, he stopped. Audrey also smiled. "Oh, it's you. What are you doing here? Want to buy something? Do you want me to recommend something? By the way, things here are very expensive. Did you bring enough money? Did you know Nicholas was here and come to use his card? Here, for you." She held out her hand, and in her palm was Nicholas's card. Chloe had a fiery temper. She had already sensed something was wrong. She sneered. "What's the meaning of this? What? Only you guys are rich. Only you guys are noble." She stared at Nicholas. "And to think Amelia even asked me how to win you over. How can you just watch another woman talk to her like that?" Chloe didn't know that Audrey was his one true love. I pulled Chloe back, shielding her behind me. "It's fine. I'll handle it." When I looked up, I saw Nicholas looking at me. His eyes held surprise, emotion. He said, "Actually, I'm not angry anymore. If you want to get back together, just say so. You don't need to try to win me over." But what Audrey said just now didn't have any other meaning. "Nicholas," I said, cutting him off, "I will pay you back for all the money you spent on me. Really. I'm very grateful to you. And I won't keep pestering you in the future. After I'm done with what you asked me to do, I'll leave." Nicholas looked at me, a little stunned. The things in his hands fell to the ground. That's not what I meant." I ignored him and left with Chloe. After leaving the mall, Chloe was fuming. "You shouldn't like Nicholas anymore. He's definitely not ordinary with that woman. And to think I used to think he was a good man." I couldn't help but smile. Yes, I don't like him anymore. Chloe's anger finally subsided a little. I said, "Don't be angry. When I'm done with this busy period, I'll treat you to a big meal." I was supposed to be shopping with her today, but this incident ruined the mood. She snorted. "All right." Nicholas unblocked me. He sent me many messages. "I never wanted you to pay me back. I helped you because I genuinely wanted to, not for any reward. Don't take what Audrey said to heart. That's just her personality. I was just too angry. That's why I blocked you. What have you been up to lately? Can we go back to how things were before, please?" I pretended not to see them. I didn't reply to any of these messages. Instead, I sent all the photos I had saved recently, the cookies I made for Caleb, the envelope of the love letter, and 2 screenshots of our chat history. Nothing important, but I was very proactive, almost overly enthusiastic, and Caleb replied to every message I sent, just very briefly. After I sent all the pictures, there was a long silence on the other end. Then I received a voice message from Nicholas. His tone was cold, with a hint of gritted teeth. "Well, thank you so much. For me. You've really gone above and beyond." I replied humbly. It was my duty. He didn't reply after that. That night, I searched for a place online and then messaged Chloe, asking her out for dinner. She suggested we invite a few more friends and have a good time. I agreed. After dinner, we went to a KTV. Halfway through, I stepped out and heard my own name. "I've made up my mind. Let's get back together. I'll probably never be with him in this lifetime. As for that Amelia, get rid of her. She's been occupying you for 7 years. It makes me sick just thinking about it. She also said today that she would leave you." That voice was Audrey's. I looked over and saw Audrey buried in a man's arms. Nicholas looked at Audrey, a little at a loss. You. Before he could finish, Audrey stood on her tiptoes and kissed his lips. I quickly looked away and ran in the other direction. Well, that's that. I don't have to pursue Caleb anymore. Of course. The whole thing was absurd and laughable from the start. But I never expected to see Caleb at this moment. Clearly, he had seen that scene too. He walked over and handed me a tissue. So pathetic. I had made up my mind, said my harsh words. But at this moment, knowing they were really getting back together, I still couldn't help but cry. This time, I didn't hold back. I took the tissue and wiped my tears. Thank you, Mr. Joe. But you were right not to agree to date me. I'm really not that great. And I'm not good enough for you. Just pretend the past few weeks never happened. I won't bother you anymore. Caleb paused, then stared into my eyes. He said, No, I didn't understand. His tone became serious, and his voice deepened. I mean, I don't think you're not good enough for me. I rejected you because your pursuit wasn't genuine. Caleb asked you to do it, right? He's been good to you. But that doesn't mean you have to do whatever he asks. You know, there are 1,000 ways to repay a kindness. Amelia, you chose the stupidest one. After that day, I threw myself back into my work. Whenever I had a question, I would ask Caleb, and he would always give me a quick answer. In this regard, he was a very good teacher. Under his guidance, I slowly became a better version of myself. Nicholas and Audrey also got back together. He even had someone tell me that the thing he had asked me to do before was off. But not long after, maybe about half a month, I heard they had broken up. Nicholas was the one who initiated it. To be honest, I didn't quite believe it. Nicholas loved Audrey so much. He had done so much for her. Now that she had come back to him, how could he be the one to break up with her? That day, after half a month, I received another message from Nicholas. Are you free in the next couple of days? I have something I want to talk to you about. Let's go to that Western restaurant you used to like so much. How about it? It's been a long time since I've seen you. I thought about it and replied, I'm busy lately. After work, Caleb happened to be nearby and came to pick me up for dinner. Perhaps because of our heart that night, our relationship had progressed rapidly. After dinner, he took a call. I waited for him downstairs. Suddenly, someone appeared and slapped me, then hysterically questioned me. It's you. Why is it you again? When did you and Caleb get so close? Audrey's eyes were red, and her hands were trembling, one after another. You've seduced them all. Why does everyone love you? Why? Nicholas used to love me so much. He would do whatever I said. But this time, even though we were together, he was always thinking about you, wondering what you were doing. How could he do that to me? Besides, you're just a country bumpkin. If it weren't for us, you'd probably still be picking corn somewhere. My face throbbed with a dull pain. He doesn't like me. You're mistaken. This is between you and him. You should go talk to him. You should know better than anyone how much he cares about you. Audrey sneered. Is that so? Then it seems his devotion is all for naught. Just then, Caleb came downstairs. He looked at my face. Then he looked at Audrey coldly. Audrey had clearly lost control. I suddenly thought of the girl who had argued with Nicholas in the cornfield 7 years ago. So vibrant and bright. Call Nicholas, I said. Caleb looked at me with surprise, but he still took out his phone and called Nicholas. Amelia just got slapped. What the hell? Who? Where? Why are you with Amelia? Caleb's voice was flat. Audrey hit her. You should come pick her up. There was a long silence on the other end. Not long after, Nicholas arrived. He looked at me, then at Caleb, at a loss for words. You too. I was about to speak when Caleb said in a low voice, You clean up your own romantic messes. What's the point of dragging others into it? Nicholas frowned, a little defiant. My romantic messes. Are you any better? How is Amelia with you? Don't you dislike women? I took a deep breath. You should just take her back first. Nicholas was cut off, and he looked at me, at a loss for words. In the end, he didn't say anything. He left with Audrey. Back home, I received a message from Nicholas. Why are you with my brother? You too, I replied. We're not anything. Then the screen just showed. Typing. After a while, he called me directly. I've been thinking for a long time. I actually wanted to tell you my feelings for Audrey. All these years seemed to have just been an obsession. I cut him off. Check your messages. I just transferred some money to you. His voice caught. I continued. Over the years, I've kept a record of every penny you've spent on me. I'll pay you back slowly. You've been good to me, and I'll always remember that. But from now on, our relationship is just that of a sponsor and a sponsored person. As for everything else, your feelings, your life, I won't be involved anymore. Nicholas took a deep breath. I didn't mean to cut ties with you, but I do. Caleb was right. I had taken the wrong path before, used the wrong method. That's why I had hurt both him and myself. What if I said I like you? I want to pursue you, to be with you. I was stunned. Then there was a long silence. I asked him, is it late? Realized love still love. Before he could answer, I hung up. For a long time after that, I continued to receive gifts from Nicholas, just like when he had asked me to pursue Caleb. But this time, my heart was no longer moved. I sold the house Nicholas had given me. I also sold the car at a depreciated price, with the money I had saved over the past 2 years. I had a lawyer draw up a repayment plan. Then I couriered it to Nicholas. He called me. Do you have to do this? I said, yes. He sneered, his tone heavy. Because of my brother. You want to be with him? He seemed annoyed, lit a cigarette, and spoke in an almost mocking tone. That's so simple. You're going to be my sister. In law. Why would you even care about money? I sighed. Nicholas, do you remember the first thing you ever said to me? He said he would sponsor my education, feed and clothe me, and give me more money than I could ever spend. And then, he asked me to love him. He thought for a long time, then tentatively said, the first thing was asking for your name. I laughed. To be honest, it was a little heartbreaking. After all these years, it turned out I was the only one who had carved those words into my very being. Never daring to forget, I repeated the words to him. Then I said, what you asked me to do, I did it. But now, I'm going to give it all back to you. I don't want your so-called endless money. I should be able to stop loving you now. Right. As for the future, what I do, who I'm with, has nothing to do with you anymore. After that, I ran into Nicholas a few more times. Each time, he would look at me with a very complicated expression. He had become more mature, but he never dated anyone. Mrs. Zhou sought me out privately. She sighed. I've always liked you. When I said I wanted you to join the Zhou family, I was sincere. Now that things have turned out this way between you and Nicholas, it's just fate. As for that Audrey, her heart is too big. She wants this. She wants that. I never liked her from the start. It's good that it's over. Mrs. Zhou told me that Audrey was depressed at home for a long time and went to see Nicholas a few more times. But each time, they parted on bad terms. I still kept in touch with Caleb occasionally. He was very tactful in his dealings with people and never made anyone feel uncomfortable. Our interactions were always just right. One day, he took me to see an art exhibition I had always wanted to see. When we came out, it was raining. We stood under the eaves together. He suddenly said, I remember, the first time I saw you. You were very timid. You were hiding behind Nicholas, clutching his sleeve tightly, like you were holding onto a lifeline. I laughed. Yes. Back then, he really was my savior. His brows furrowed slightly. Amelia, if you're willing. I looked up at him and cut him off. By the way, I've applied for an overseas assignment. I'm leaving the day after tomorrow. Caleb's expression became unreadable. The day after tomorrow. His voice was low, his emotions hidden. Yes, I nodded. There's a very important project at headquarters. In Paris. It requires a long-term stay. It's a rare opportunity. So I applied. And I got it. He was silent for a long time before finally asking, very directly, to avoid me. I couldn't help but laugh. No, I just want to try something new. To start a new journey. I want to see how far I can go. Just by myself. The day I left, Caleb was out of town on a business trip. He timed it perfectly and sent me a message. Have a safe trip. I'll be waiting for your return. I replied, okay. I was dragging my suitcase downstairs when I saw an unexpected person at the entrance of the complex. It was Nicholas. We hadn't seen each other in a while. He walked over and took the suitcase from my hand. Let's go. I'll see you off. How did you? His steps faltered slightly. Are you asking how I knew you were leaving? Or are you asking why I came? I sighed. Both. He smiled, devoid of his previous flamboyant air, and now faintly resembling Caleb. How could I not know about your affairs? All this time, he had actually been very concerned about me. He had added many of my friends as contacts. When I first joined the company, he even specifically sought out my boss for a meal. I couldn't argue with what he said. As for why, 7 years. We were inseparable, knew everything about each other. Now, you're leaving. Can't I see you off one last time? Of course, I said. He looked at me and reached out, as if to touch my hair like he used to. I took a step back and avoided it. His hand fell empty. He finally just sighed. Let's go. From now on, I won't look back.